one of the first things I did today was to finish the town styrofoam drawing. And either at about a 1:25 in the morning, and either shortly after that or within the morning, I would say around the time I had the granola cereal with coffee, around 9:15 in the morning, I started work on this new styrofoam drawing, which is technically going to be another town styrofoam drawing. It has this building that I initially imagined as a sort of apartment building, but now probably looks more like a hospital. I initially had this planned as the front, but because of the way I drew the cacti, this is probably going to have to be the new front. I heard from somewhere that one side of a mountainous area is all desert. It has something to do with a mountain preventing rain from getting over to an area, thus leading to desert-like conditions. This is going to be a drawing of mostly mountains of a sort. At least that's the current plan. That could change. This is the furthest I got before I did most of the work. I have had some fear, and still do, that I could accidentally snap this piece off. It's got a bit of looseness here on that corner. Most of the work done so far was done during the about 2-hour period between the first time Dan and I went out today and the second time. The first time we went out was around 11:30 in the morning. It was to first do some driving practice. In particular, Dan and I went on the roads of his mail route in order to do some, I think, primarily counterclockwise laps, but also some clockwise laps mixed in. This was to practice turning. I think I recall struggling at some points, but also doing well at other points for some of the turns. I think there was a point in which I went a point at which I drove I went through a light in order to practice something new, stopping when the light turned green, and then stopping when the light turned red, and then going when the light turned green. But when the light turned green, I kind of floored it a bit, causing a burst of sudden acceleration, but I still kept the car in control. I think the fastest it went was up to 13 miles per hour during that burst of acceleration, so it wasn't too bad, but it's something to keep in mind. Dad's car, and I think cars these days have power in them. It doesn't take much to accelerate significantly. Then Dad and I, after the driving practice, he primarily tells me I need to work on my angles. I think it has something to do with having more control of the car. Being smoother with my handwork and my footwork. Respectfully, in terms of smoothly turning the steering wheel and applying gentle pressure to both the brake and gas pedals. Whenever either one is needed. Dan and I then went to Sam's Diner. We both tried this kind of special they were having of a sort of corned beef omelet. Yeah, something like that. A sort of Irish omelet. St. Patrick's Day themed omelet. And we both picked for our omelets to come with home fries that we put ketchup on and rye bread. The staff applied butter to the rye bread, and we applied jelly to the toast. I got my omelet with cheddar cheese, while Dad got his with Swiss. I had my coffee plain, while Dad added half and half to his. Our omelets were pretty good, and so was the coffee. Dan and I got to make some good conversation, some good small talk. Well, we went to Sam's Diner about 15 minutes before 1. So it was the early afternoon by the time we got back to our apartment unit. Dad went to a realtor in order to look into buying a house. And when he dropped me off here, after a period of him relaxing here, I think around 2:30, he went to see the realtor, got back about half an hour later, and from 3 to 5, I worked on the Mountain Town Styrofoam drawing. I might make this a kind of building, perhaps. Just a thought. Around 5 p.m., Dan and I went to Salvatore's, where I primarily interacted with people by showing them essentially the newest styrofoam drawings under a folder, a gallery album on my phone, with an emphasis on that town styrofoam drawing, with the intent that they would enjoy seeing the new styrofoam drawing. I have thoughts of establishing an art career. The first thing I did at Salvatore's was to try the Drunk Bunny cocktail they had. If I recall correctly, it has watermelon Malibu, and the other ingredients are harder to remember. I think one of the others was vodka, maybe something like that. It was pretty good, but maybe it could have been better had it been colder. It was still pretty good, though. The second drink I had, this was at the time Dan and I got our first medium pizza from Salvatore's. I picked out the toppings and the sauce. For the sauce, I picked Alfredo. For the toppings, I picked crispy chicken, aka chicken fingers, and bacon. Dad only requested that the crispy chicken be more chopped up, I think, or maybe he asked about it. I've never heard of a single pizza company putting whole chicken fingers on a pizza, though you certainly could do it. Technically, you can put anything on a pizza, including hot fudge, pickles, bananas, Cheez-Its, pretzel sticks, M&M's, Oreos, deep-fried Twinkies, Skittles, marshmallows, jelly beans, Cheetos, Hot Pockets, cabbage, corned beef, sauerkraut, goat cheese, spicy mustard as the sauce base, kale, corn, Hershey's chocolate bars, Fritos, ramen noodles, cranberries, raisins, carrots, wasabi, Kobe beef, Nutella, Vegemite, lemon slices, orange slices, sriracha sauce. There's an infinite number of things you could put on a pizza, but typically aren't, at least not if you order from a commercial pizza place. The pizza I'm having now is part of the second medium pizza, which we ordered around the time I was finishing my third drink, which was essentially a high noon black cherry flavor vodka and soda, which I described as tasting like black cherry flavored soda. I mean water. Yeah, while at Salvatore's, I was on my phone quite a bit, looking things up on the internet. At one point, there was a fun moment his dad recalled his silly things I did, silly tendencies I had when I was younger with his friends, and staff at the bar area. When I got to Salvatore's, I first felt normal. Then there was a period I felt exhausted. during about the period in which I was finishing up my second drink, essentially a mule, aka ginger beer with some kind of fruit juice. And then I started to stop feeling exhausted around halfway into the third drink. The High Noon, I think it was a seltzer, maybe. Wait, it at least had a feel to it. It was a mix of soda and vodka and black cherry flavoring. We shared the first medium pizza with, I think, Dad having maybe one more slice than me. Around the time I had the mule, around 7 p.m., I would say. We stayed at Salvatore's until about 8 p.m. That's around the time the second medium pizza came, which we got exactly as the first medium pizza. So this pizza, like the first pizza we had exclusively at Salvatore's, has crispy chicken, bacon, and Alfredo as the sauce base. At first, Dad felt a little weirded out by getting crispy chicken. But he was glad he tried this. He ended up liking it. Man, I like it too. And when I got back from Salvatore's, by that point I felt pretty tired, and I ended up falling asleep on the bottom bunk of the bunk bed. The top bunk has a whole bunch of stuff on it. So I fell asleep for some hours on the bottom bunk of the bunk bed in the spare room, which is right here. There was also a point somewhere between 3 and 5 p.m., I think, that Dad showed me something in a paper that apparently Wegmans is doing some kind of hiring event where you can get up to a 1,500 hiring sign-on bonus. I assume that big bonus is for managers and whatnot, but Dad showing me that led me to look up essentially Wegmans careers. I haven't looked that deeply into it yet, but I will soon. It seems like a good opportunity to me. I just don't know exactly which Wegmans is doing the hiring event at the time being.